Yo, we want to welcome you back to another episode of the HiramGlyphics Podcast. This is just a podcast, man. And like I said before, I always say at the beginning of these podcasts, is we want to talk to you about certain things that our community here in Akron, Ohio isn't talking about. I don't really see people making an uproar on the timelines of social media here in this particular demographic at all whatsoever. And we kind of want to bring forth a little more understanding to the thing, man. It is our hope that you become interested enough to want to do your own research, your own study, you know what I'm trying to say, in the hopes to gain a little more understanding. Because at the end of the day, when you show interest, 9 out of 10, you're gonna go looking, you're gonna go reading, looking at videos, and doing research and looking at videos, you begin to have a better understanding. And once you get that understanding hopefully is stuff that you remembered. Per definition, that stuff that you remember, the remembered information or intel, becomes intelligence. So we want you to be more intelligent about a thing when it comes to certain things that's happening to us on a global scale, right? So it brings us to this story, right? First off, a lot of us don't realize that there is a prime undertone with Chinese people and black people, okay? There's a, and I'm generalizing when I say this. I don't believe every Chinese person is prejudiced against black people. But when we look up the definition prejudice, we looking up, per definition, means to prejudge a motherfucker. It's you prejudging this person, okay? Based on 9 out of 10, what you believe that person to be about, or what society propagates about that particular group of people. So in China, the actual China is rampant. It's not necessarily a thing that's not talked about. It's talked about. The way African people is treated in China is not a good thing, especially what's going on now in the city of Guangzhou. That's a city in China. In the city of Guangzhou, it is reported straight up and down that they are kicking Africans or people of African descent, mostly Africans, brothers from the continent, out of their places of staying. They're kicking people out because it is believed, the narrative is switching now, that there's a second wave of the coronavirus, that they're afraid of a second wave of the coronavirus, because it's believed worldwide now that Africans or black people are being hit the most, especially over here in the States. So over in China, they already have this underground prejudice of black people. So what they're doing is kicking people out of their apartments and houses or whatever the hell they've written over there. Hell, they can't even go into restaurants without getting discriminated against because of the fear of this coronavirus. That's what they're saying. They're allowing their fear of the coronavirus to birth or publicize the prejudice that they have for African people, man. Hell, I seen one thing on my timeline. I seen a black woman and a man getting. I can't tell you if they was African or not. From the continent, but they was an African person. So I'm not, it could have been hell African American, because at the end of the day we all look alike, right? So what I saw was apparently this black couple went shopping, or wanted to go shopping. I'm assuming it was a restaurant because they was fighting. The two couples it was a man and a Chinese lady fighting off black people. That's what it looked like. But when you look at it and you know the story really, they wasn't fighting them off. They were trying to get the black people out and say, you can't come. Black people didn't like the treatment. So the Chinese man pulled out a damn butcher's knife, and that's why I know it was a restaurant. Put out a butcher's knife and ran the people off. This is crazy, man. And then they, like I say, you look up, just look on the videos and you see, look at the city of Guangzhou in China and see how they got Africans just sitting on the side of the roads, which makes no sense to me. If they are contaminated or you believe them to be contaminated, why kick them out of the house? I think eventually they're trying to kick them out the country. But I read an article in the New York Post that says that I think it was based out of Johannesburg in South Africa or whatever, that they were saying that the Chinese people are completely fearful, basically under prejudice means. This is just me paraphrasing. This is what I got out of it. That it's not right what they doing. They don't have the right to do what they doing, far as disrespecting and discriminating against. And even America, in this particular article from the Washington Post, which came out August the 10th, okay, even America has an issue with it and don't like the treatment because they're assuming that, if it's happening to Africans, I'm sure it'll happen to an African American as well. So we want to just make it plain. It's happening mostly to brothers that's literally from the continent of Africa, but inadvertently, I'm sure it's happening to African Americans to a lesser degree. That happens, just because of the look factor, man. So this is what I wanted to talk about. Now here's how I'm going to wrap this up to what we doing here. If you know that they think about you in such a way, if you know that they have a historical, popular, it's popular that they feel about you in certain ways, you got to understand the thing that I say about black economics, which I like to call blackonomics, is should be taken seriously. And this is what I mean. The secret is out, people. The secret is out. Just look in your communities. The world knows that the African American will buy anything from anybody before they will buy from themselves. That's why you see these Chinese people, Arabs, and everybody in your communities. The secret is out. Hell, you see people pass. You see the Chinese restaurant. You see how every 2-3 years it takes on a different name. They passing this thing on. They're like running a train on the community. You see the Arab store, once the one family's through with it, or one person in the family's through with it, they pass it on to the next Arab. They say, hey, I got what I needed out of the bitch, so let somebody else hit it. This is what they doing. They coming in, running the train on our community. I had to use these words because I want you guys to understand it, because I understand who I'm talking to. Word is born. So that's what I'm saying. So you sitting up there and you know this news, whether or not, you know that this is happening, whether or not you're cognizant or conscious, of it happening. But if I say that you see it and you realize that ain't what you've been seeing, you're now responsible. But I'm pretty sure you know your favorite Chinese restaurant, your favorite nail tech, or the nail spot in the same building that was once the one you liked. I'm sure you had to adapt and get another nail tech because they moved the thing. I'm sure you have. So this is what I'm trying to say all together. Why are we spending so much money with the people that really despise us like that? Look, and I'm going to be honest with you. If you know me, you know I love Chinese food. I was one of the ones that would go to the Chinese restaurant with no problem. Although, I'm pretty sure I had a rat, cat, and a dog before in some Szechuan. Okay, dipped in some sweet and sour sauce and some soy sauce. I'm pretty sure I had that because I'm the type of brother that I want the Chinese authentic as possible. That's what I like. But once I have come to this realization, I had to tell myself, okay, I can't do this no more. No matter how much I like the taste of the food, I cannot put money in these people's pockets, and they treating my people like that across the waters. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, just like what's happening over there in the city of Guangzhou, they do not discriminate whether or not if you are African or African American. At the end of the day, you look African, and once we get that through our heads, I think we'll be better. But at the end of the day, what's happening to the African is happening to you because that's where you're from, which is why you are called, or your title here in the wilderness of North America is an African American. You're not an American. They stating your heritage, your culture, and where the hell you from Africa. And you going up, and I really don't understand why our sisters just gotta go to these to these Chinese people, Korean, whatever the hell. okay, to get their nails done. Then you're going to get your hair, and then you go. It don't matter. Don't tell me those are the Koreans and all that. It don't matter. They're not African. So listen, I just wanted to come to you and tell you you're looking kind of goofy on a global scale for you to be just spending money with people who means you no harm. They're just running the train on the black community, okay? And I'm guarantee you for a fact, if you open your eyes and you look and you see different businesses, the hands of the businesses have been changed year after year, or every 3 years, you will notice what I'm saying is the truth. Period, point blank. So listen, with that being said, I can go on and on, days and days. We just wanted to bring this to your attention, man. You should be outraged. This shit should be on your timeline. You should say something about what's happening to your people over there. Because if your black ass was over there, you would be getting treated the same way. It's the HiramGlyphics, y'all. Y'all better film me before they kill me. Peace. Just wanted to make a correction on the pronunciation of the city that's buck wilding over there in China. It's Guangzhou. I might have said Guangzhou. I'm not sure, but I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing the city right. Guangzhou. So in case you want to Google it with your microphone or whatever, you can Google it with the right pronunciation, man. Just wanted to put that in there.